Hey, it's Holly here for another Spring Vitality class for you. This is the 6th class and the 7th class series. So we're going to get started today. Here's what we need. We need a Pilates mat or a thick padded floor that's comfortable enough to roll a little bit on, and a towel. Not a huge beach towel, unless that's all you have, we'll make it work. But this is like a hand towel from the bathroom, and just fold it into quarters. All right, that's all we need. So today's focus is going to be on Pilates, the fundamentals of core strength. So we're going to do most of this class. In fact, I think we're going to do all of it on the floor. So go ahead and get your stuff ready. And you're ready to move. All right, core strength and Pilates fundamentals. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna lay down on our back, and we wanna be comfortable, and that's really why we have the towel. So you can lay it underneath your head, okay? So get nice and supported through your neck. You can put it underneath your head or just like at the nape of your neck in the hollow area between the neck and the mat. That's actually where I'm gonna put mine. So it will create just some additional support for your neck. I know a lot of you have a history of neck injuries and some issues that are similar. So this just creates a little bit of safety for the bones of the neck, okay? So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the hands by the side. We're not gonna press anything down right now. We're gonna warm up a little bit. So what we're gonna do to warm up is rock and roll the pelvis, okay? So your pelvis is going to tilt back a little bit, kind of rolling the sacrum towards the floor. And then your pelvis is going to rock forward a little bit. So it creates a little more arch where the lower back is. Now, this is supposed to be really gentle. So if you're feeling it in your low back, you may be moving with too much effort or holding your breath, or we need to work on something in private sessions. So if this is uncomfortable for you, definitely send me a note and let me know. But you can always make it a slower, smaller movement and see if that takes care of it for you. Okay, so just a little bit of feeling the pelvis. Go ahead and put your hands around the hips. This isn't the actual hip joint, of course, but it's what everybody thinks of their hips, right? It's really the top of the pelvis. And feel how those bones move forward when you tilt forward, and then they move back towards the floor when we tilt back, okay? So we're doing two different range of motion, a forward and a back tilt. All right, so hopefully you got a little bit more understanding of the pelvis and the explanation of tilting the pelvis forward and back. So I want you to go into a neutral pelvis. So put your hands around the hips, the top of the pelvis, and just check to make sure that you're not tilted back or forward for what you consider neutral. Very common because we get used to whatever our compensation is. If you have any kind of postural deviation, which almost everybody does, you get used to it. So you may think it's neutral. So just sort of feel until you feel like the top of the pelvis feels fairly flat, okay? Now from there, we're gonna adjust the feet so that they're hip width apart. It's usually about 3 or 4 inches apart. And put your hands around the pelvis to keep it stable. So a neutral pelvis is gonna have a slight arch in your low back. You can actually take the fingertips, sort of reach behind the low back area, and just make sure that that is not flat into the floor. So it's slightly lifted, okay? So we're in neutral. We're gonna take the right leg, and you're gonna lift the foot off the floor, bringing the knee to a 90-degree angle, and don't let your pelvis position change. So you're gonna keep it really stable as you float the foot back down. Okay, let's go to the other side. Lift the foot, knee should be at a 90-degree angle, and then just float it back down. Okay, so we're gonna alternate sides with that. Okay, last one. All right, great. How'd you do? Were you able to keep your pelvis stable? Okay, so now we're going to just take the arms up towards the ceiling, the palms face each other. This is an exercise called puppet arms from Pilates. Keep your elbows straight. This is to mobilize your scapula or shoulder blade. So we're going to start on the right side, and you're just going to reach the fingertips up to the ceiling. This is the part that gets everybody. You're going to let the shoulder blade slap back down to the mat. So you should be looking at your own fingertips by now. So you can watch them moving closer to the ceiling and then back down as you slap it. Careful not to bend the elbows. I think a lot of people think that it's an elbow exercise, but it's not. It's really to mobilize the scapula, so in the upper back. So it's like that. Okay, good. All right, bring the hands down by your side. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to bridge. So we're going to lift and lower the pelvis, but we're going back to pelvic awareness. So we're not going to tuck or arch or tilt it forward and back or rotate it or anything. We want to keep it really neutral. So that's again, slight arch in the low back. The top of the pelvis should fold flat if you put your hands on it. And now we're just going to lift up into our bridge, but we're not going to excessively squeeze the buttocks or excessively tighten the abs or anything excessively. And then we're going to lower the hips straight back down to the mat without rolling or tucking or tilting. Okay, one more. Okay, so hopefully you still feel that little bit of space behind the low back of the mat. All right, so the next one, I'm going to actually move my neck support out. I don't think I need it for the next exercise. So the next one, we are going to begin to, again, tilt the pelvis to go into this position. So it's not going to be done in neutral. So go ahead and put your hands around the top of the pelvis. And first, we're going to rock the pelvis back. So you're tilting it backwards, feeling your spine kind of flatten towards the floor. And then you're going to roll up through the lower and middle back into kind of like a hammock shape, right? And then we're going to roll down again through the middle, across the low spine, sacrum, and then we're going to land rolling across the sacrum and come back to a neutral pelvis position. Okay, so this is all about tilting the pelvis back and then rolling up through that spine. The shoulder blades are going to stay all the way on the floor, and then we're going to roll back down. Okay, we're going to do one more. Hopefully this is feeling really nice along your spine. It should feel kind of like a little bit of a spinal massage. All right, we roll down. Want to create weight or heaviness through the lower ribs and back as everything drops back down to the floor. Okay, were you able to concentrate on how you're moving the pelvis? Okay, so the next one we're going to do, we're actually going to take the legs up to this position, which is called a chair or tabletop position. What we're going to do now is you're going to start in neutral pelvis. So everything should feel neutral. Now we're going to tilt the pelvis back to round the back into the floor. And we're going to alternate a few times between those positions. So neutral pelvis, and then this is called imprinting the spine, because we're rounding the pelvis back and you're imprinting the length of the spine, right? So especially from the bra strap area down towards the sacrum. Let's do that again. And then back to neutral, and then imprint. Good, come back to neutral and go ahead and lower the feet down. Okay, so once we start getting the legs up off the floor, we start to feel it quite a bit in the abs. So now we're gonna take the arms out to about 45-degree angle, bring both feet up, and bring the legs together. We're gonna do an imprinted spine. So as you do that, you feel the abs pull in, the skin deep contraction, and you're gonna feel the low back rounding into the mat because that's imprinting. And now we're going to drop the knees to about 45 degrees over to either side. It doesn't matter which side you start with. Take a breath in. Exhale, roll across to 45 degrees on the other side. Take a breath in. Exhale, roll across. So we're staying really focused on as we roll through that imprinting. So that full contact of the spine down to the floor. And then one more on each side. You can hear my voice getting thinner and weaker because I'm working really hard here. Okay, let's go back up to the center and then go ahead and lower the feet down. So hopefully you're starting to feel a little more of that abdominal connection with the imprinting. When we do that, it creates support to the spine from the inside because we're using the abdominal muscles to pull back towards the spine to help support it. So oftentimes it can be a great way to reduce stress and tension through the spine. At the same time, we're strengthening the abdominals, right? Now, the next thing we're gonna do is you're gonna bring the feet about hip width apart, and we're gonna practice the 100 exercise from Pilates. So we're gonna do a fundamental version of the 100, okay? So the 100 is a 5 count in and a 5 count out breathing technique for the Pilates 100. So it's a 5-second inhale, 5-second exhale, and that's per breath. And then we do 10 breaths. So it's called 100 because each breath is 10 seconds. There's 10 breaths. That's 100. So we're going to do the 100. The fundamental version is going to be imprinted with the legs and tabletop in together. We're going to keep the head down and supported. If you're using a support, you can keep it there. And you're going to start with the arms straight up to the ceiling. You're going to bring the arms down to about 6 inches from the mat, and you're going to start pumping the arms. Now the trick here is to maintain the imprint of your spine. So you keep the abs pulled in, and that will also help you stay stable through your body while you're pumping the arms up and down. So now we're going to start breathing. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. 32, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. 42, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. 50, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. 62, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. 72, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. 82, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 4, 5. 92, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, and 100. Last breath in. 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then relax. You just bring your knees in, do a little gentle rock side to side to help your back relax a little bit more. All right, so with your 100, were you able to keep imprinted? Were your arms staying in tempo with my counting? And were you able to manage your breathing so that you didn't get stressed doing that breathing count? all those things are really important as we learn Pilates and get stronger to start to progress more with the exercises. Okay, so next we're going to come up to a seated position, so you can do that any way that feels safe and comfortable for you. We're going to come into a zigzag sit. Some people call this a Z. It's got some other ways. You can call it a staggered seated position because the legs are staggered. Now, when you do this, I'm willing to bet that both sitting bones aren't fully weighted onto the floor, and that's okay. As we get more advanced with the Pilates, we want to try to be able to do that, and that's a flexibility thing that often takes time to build into being able to do that. So it's not required that both sitting bones are on the floor. I just want you to be aware if they're off center or one is lifted. We're going to do a side stretch exercise. So from here, you should be squared hips and shoulders forward, and your eyes will be on something that's keeping you centered, not twisted to watch the camera while you're doing this. So you might want to watch one before you try it. You're going to bring the arms out to the side, slightly in front of the shoulders. Notice where the feet are, and we're going to bend to the side away from the feet for the first one. So we slide, bend over, slide out towards the elbow, and then the other arm stretches overhead into a nice side bend stretch. We're going to come up through the center, and then you're going to grab your ankle, stretch the other arm behind your head, reaching between the shoulder blades. This will get a little more tricep stretch in addition to the side of the ribs. We're going to repeat that. We go over to the open side of the legs first, reaching the overhead arm, and then coming up, grab the ankle, stretch the other arm behind the shoulder blades. Go as far as you can reach. Obviously, don't reach to anything that feels painful for you. And we're going to go out. Use the abdominals to lift as much as possible. So we want to avoid practicing pushing off with the hands too much. Because again, as we get into more advanced stuff, that core strength is going to be important. Out here. And this will be the last one with the legs in this position. So after you stretch the triceps, bring the arm out to the side and float the arms down. Now we're going to move the legs to the other side. So you can do that in a way that's comfortable for you. And then again, just assess where your sitting bones are. Maybe one side you're more flexible than the other. So you're just going to be aware how much the sitting bones are lifted, if at all, off the mat. Usually one side is down, like my right side is down. My left one is lifted a little bit. That side is a little bit tighter. Take the arms out slightly in front of the shoulders and begin the side stretch. Reach over, slide down towards the elbow. Overhead arm stretches. And use the abdominals to lift as much as possible. We're going to grab that ankle. And then reaching out and then coming back over. We're going to do two more. Okay, and then last one for the side stretches. Back out to the side with the arms, and then float the arms back down. Now, the next one we're going to do is we're going to lay on our stomach. So it'll be really hard to see the video once you're in this position. So again, you may want to watch one of the exercise before you actually jump in and do it, so you don't have to be twisted and turned while you're exercising. I don't want you to do anything that's super awkward, right? We want to stay focused on you want to stay focused on your body and your center line. to keep good alignment. Now, for this one, we come onto the stomach. You're going to externally rotate through the thighs. So you're turned out, and the feet are going to be basically about the width apart of your mat. Your hands are going to be a little bit outside of your shoulders, and you're going to lower the chest and head down. So you're going to be about an inch from the mat, like your nose will be about an inch from the mat. Now we're going to tighten the abs in, so bring the navel towards your spine. And then you're going to imagine you have like a golf ball under your nose. And then what we're going to do is push the golf ball away. You watch it roll away. You keep the abs pulled in tight, navel to spine, and you lift up into this back extension. You come back down, you lower again an inch from the mat with your nose, and we do this again. So you push that golf ball away, and you keep the abs tight. See if you're able to lift enough so that you can take your eyes forward, like over the horizon on the lift. This is going to be mostly glute, back muscles, and hamstrings. So muscles on the back side of the body to lift you. But we want to stay, again, supported through the abdominals. So that's why we keep that abs pulled in to create that kind of flat ab look and feeling. And down. And we're going to do 2 more of these. I'm not going to turn to the camera to watch you because I want to stay centered while I'm doing the exercise. Okay, good. Now, the next one we're going to do is, let's do this one. Let's come up into one of the arch position exercises we just did. And you're going to interlace your fingers and place the hands and forearms down on the mat in front of you. Bring the legs together. So again, watch the setup and the first 1 or 2, and then join in. So from here, you want to maintain the flat ab feeling, right? Navel stays to spine, and we want to keep the chest lifted. So it's actually a very active position. I'm not chilling out, right? I'm exercising. So I've got my glutes and hamstrings engaged as well. And then we're going to kick by bending the knee, keep the toe pointed 2 times with one leg. And then we go to the other leg and do 2 kicks there. Okay? So as you are joining in and doing this, you want to feel a stretch really through your hips, the front of the legs, and the thighs, right? So the front of the thighs. This is a great stretch. And you should, again, feel that abdominal contraction. Keep the shoulders back and pulled down. Now, only thing we're going to do different is flex the foot. So instead of having a pointed toe, the foot is flexed. And we do the same thing with the 2 kicks, alternating each side. This will change the stretch a little bit. Make sure you're staying focused, keeping your chest nice and lifted. And let's do 1 more on each side. All right, how did you do on that one? Good? Okay, so next what we're going to do is we're going to come on up to all 4s. And we're going to do cat stretches. So for cat stretches, knees are going to be hip width apart, hands down underneath the shoulders, and we're going to start in neutral pelvis, neutral spine. Okay? We're going to take a breath in, and you're going to tilt the pelvis back, rounding the entire back. And you push through the heels of the hands to get this nice stretch. Okay? Now we go through neutral, and we tilt the pelvis forward to arch the back. Okay? And then we go through these positions. So you're going through neutral into this round back, and it's a really nice stretch. So if you can keep your neck nice and relaxed, it feels really good. And then we arch the back, stretching the front of the chest and activating the back muscles. Pilates is always stretching something and strengthening something. And it finds a way to stretch what is tight. Areas of your body that are tight will get stretched from Pilates, and it finds a way to strengthen what is weak. So we get stretching and strengthening at the same time in Pilates, and then come back to neutral. Excellent. Now we're gonna come up to a standing position. So you may wanna watch this first. This may not be the best way exercise for everyone, so be mindful of yourself. Now, for this exercise, I'm tucking the toes under, I'm lifting my hips, so my head is upside down. Okay, so if you know that you don't do well with your head upside down, that's why I wanted you to watch it first. Now, we're gonna walk the hands back towards the toes, keep your knees slightly bent, and then we're gonna round through the spine to roll up to a standing position. Okay. Hopefully you guys watched that, and that felt really good for those of you that were ready to try it. So everyone should be coming up off the mat now to a standing position, and we're gonna do some exercises standing. So the rest of the workout will be standing. I'm gonna mute my microphone while I move it, so just stand by for me, please. Okay, great. Now, hopefully the exercises all were feeling really good for you. These are really important things to master as we get in deeper and move into more Pilates focused work. Now, we're gonna do a wall push-up. I know I teach those often for those of you that do my classes all the time. This is actually an exercise from Pilates fundamental exercises. So it's a warm-up for Pilates. So hopefully you have a little bit of wall space available. And we're gonna set up, move my bands out of the way. So your hands are gonna be basically in front of the shoulders. And you're gonna be back about 3, maybe 4 feet from the wall with your feet. You wanna keep the back nice and neutral. And we're gonna go into some wall push-ups. The Pilates style push-up is elbows go towards the floor. And that's for men and women because that strengthens the triceps more. So a lot of Pilates exercises really work the triceps a lot. And it's really important for balance because it is part of the backside of the body musculature. And it's also important for stabilizing the shoulder blades. So, which is something that we work on in Pilates quite a bit, which again enhances posture and can correct a lot of unwanted posture types, I'll say that. Right? Keep the abs nice and tight. And we should be finishing up our set of 8 of those wall push-ups. All right, so hopefully those are feeling really good for you. Awesome. So all we're gonna do is a couple of things standing up to sort of loosen up our body a little bit more. And we're gonna do some work for the feet and ankles, okay? So we're gonna stand with the feet in a neutral position, okay? You're going to take one foot in front of the other one just a little bit, also out to the side a little bit. You're gonna spread the toes and lift the heel off the floor by about 1 inch or 2. So I'm not in a full high heel here, just a little bit of a lift. And we're gonna circle through the knee to create a circling motion through the balls of the feet, okay? So you're sort of just doing a little bit of a knee circle here and then change direction of that circle. Okay, go ahead and step back, bounce on the heels a little bit. Let's do that on the other foot. Take the foot forward, a little bit out to the side. Lift the heel a little bit, about 1 inch or 2. And now gonna move through a knee circle shape to create that massage on the balls of the feet, right? And then change direction. Okay, go ahead and lower the feet down. Good, just bounce on your heels just a little bit. And shake out any tension. Okay, awesome. All right, so we're gonna do a couple more things standing. So this is a Pilates exercise that is often done in a seated position. We're gonna practice it standing in a neutral position. So we're gonna keep the pelvis neutral so you can touch the top of the hips. We don't wanna be tilted back or forward for this exercise. So check in with yourself and make sure that it's neutral So straight down on the sides of the pelvis. If you take your hands there, it shouldn't feel like it's tilting forward back. Okay? So we're gonna put the hands on top of the shoulders so your elbows are wide. We're gonna lengthen the spine and we're gonna rotate. So you may wanna watch this before you do it with me. Getting tall, you're gonna rotate to one side. Either side is fine to start with. Get a little more length and come to the center. You know what I mean by length, right? So like we're trying to get tall at that doctor's tape. Rotate to the other side. Get up tall to the tape and come to the center, right? Rotate. See if you collapsed a little bit by trying to get taller. If you were able to get taller, then you collapsed when you turned, right? So that's why we're doing this. We're trying to maintain that height through the body, or that motor control of the spine to keep it lengthening as we do our rotation. Let's do that one more time on each side. Excellent. Relax the arms down. All right. So that's our workout today. We focused on a lot of the fundamental movements in Pilates. And I teach a lot of these things in different body positions. We do this stuff standing. Sometimes we do it on the chair. And then often we do it on the floor as well. And very classical Pilates incorporates all these different spinal movements: side bending, rotating, arching, rounding, as well as the pelvis movements that we focused on today. So as you grow with your exercise practice, body control is really important to getting the most benefits and staying safe, right? You want to get stronger in the right places, and you want to stretch the right places as well. So I hope you enjoyed this class. Again, you guys know I love offering these. And we have a new location for the files. I'm going to send you all that in your email. Have a great week, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.